so cute.
It's an echidna.
We were here last time. The visibility wasn't so good, was it?
It's what I call soupy. So there wasn't very much room there. We sort of had to get over, give them some space. We saw about 0.5 under the keel. It was just over there, we'll go aground. So we just need to be this close to these trees here.
Welcome to Free Range Sailing.
Join us as we sail around Australia, visiting its wild places in our 30-foot, 50-year-old sailing boat, Marul.
Living off the land and sea while sailing a yacht that costs less than a new car.
We show that it's possible to have big adventures with a seaworthy boat on a very modest budget.
So we've anchored up at Spencer's Beach after our trip out to the Swains, and we're just going for a bit of a walk to get some exercise today. We're going to go check out the lighthouse on the other side of Great Keppel Island. Well, I've been hanging out to see an echidna in the wild. I've never seen one before, and we've heard that there's some on this track or on Great Keppel Island, and we've just found some evidence. It looks like we're hot on the trail of them, that there's been some echidna activity. Looks like there's something that's been digging its nose in and shuffling around in the dirt on the track right here. Something has been digging around with its nose, trying to get some ants. Oh, so cute. You want to whisper?
It's an echidna. Echidna aren't really that fond of human company, so we continued on our way and left him snoozing in the sun. You can expect to find plenty of empty beaches all to yourself on the islands here, unless you count the goats, of course. Modern lighthouses have mostly done away with full-time keepers, favouring automatic units serviced by technicians delivered by helicopter. They all provide a great vantage point and a scenic spot to get a foot cramp massaged out.
How's your foot?
It's going okay.
Mm-hmm.
Not too bad. I wonder what it'd be like to step on an echidna.
Does that inject, do those spikes poison, or is it just spiky?
No, they've got no poison. They're just like our hair, all stuck together into a spike.
Yeah.
You know the males of platypus have a poisonous spine on their back claw?
Oh, I didn't know
I
that.
don't know if echidnas do. I don't think so.
It's a beautiful day. The water is crystal clear. I haven't seen it like this at Great Keppel Island before, and when we were here last time, the visibility wasn't so good, was it?
It's what I call soupy.
But we're back at the same spot at Monkey Point where Troy got that massive lobster and big coral trout, and it was really lifey then. So we're really excited to check it out now with the beautiful crystal clear visibility.
I don't think there'll be amazing coral, but I think there'll be some fish there.
Yeah, looks like it's going to be fishy. Despite expectations, the hard corals here were quite colourful and there were plenty of plate corals. They need good light to grow, which indicates clear days like this are not that rare at the Keppels. This area is open to fishing, but the adjacent closed zones are obviously doing well and providing plenty of fish to replace stocks removed recreationally. This coral trout certainly wasn't going hungry. Inshore reefs can come under a lot of different pressures, so it was great to see Great Keppel Island surrounded by such a healthy coral garden. The people managing the Great Barrier Reef marine parks don't appear in too many headlines, but we think they are doing a really good job of preserving this national treasure. It was a great day for diving, but it looked like we'd be starting the engine to go south.
So we've got about half an hour to the high tide. There's not really much in it, so we're going to go through the Narrows. You'll see why it's called the Narrows in a sec. But at low tide, four-wheel drives and in the past cattle come through here because it dries out. So we don't want to dry it, do we, Pascal?
No.
The Fisheries Patrol was pretty active as we passed through. They aren't interested in small yachts though.
What's our depth?
Ah, she's right. Don't worry about depth, Dale. To transit the Narrows, you have to be comfortable with manoeuvring close to the shore. So you know what I was saying, they'd bring cattle? That was it. So this all would be dry at low tide, you know, like there'd be stuff sticking out. People can drive four-wheel drives through here. Got to try and avoid going too far up into the trees, but enough room for this enormous catamaran to have space to get through. So there wasn't very much room there. We sort of had to get over, give them some space. So we saw about 0.5 under the keel before I was able to tuck in behind the stern again. And now we're back on the lead line, so it's a bit happier.
Trust them to come past us at like the most narrowest point.
Oh, that's how it happens, isn't it? Well, they were probably thinking the same thing. They're like, oh my God, what's this little stupid boat doing? But they would have been happy to see us on that other side because they could follow that lead because they were massive, you know. So you think of how quickly we can manoeuvre around stuff. Still, I'd prefer it just to be empty. I guess so would he. So we've had to stay in this current line because just over there we'll go aground. So we just need to be this close to these trees here. All of that which looks nice and safe is not. Time in the Mitchell River. Remember that island?
Except there was lots of bird song.
No bats.
No bats.
No crocodiles.
So last time we came through here there was less sandflies, but obviously it was dark, so this is a little bit less nerve-wracking. I'm gonna go light a mozzie coil because we're getting bit.
Seems to be a starboard mark, have you seen? So coming up behind Curtis Island, we're going from north to south towards Gladstone. Last time we came here through it was night time, so it's more exciting. But what happens is the tides flood towards each other. So we rode the tide in from the north going south to the Narrows, and we timed it so we came through the Narrows at about half an hour before high tide. Now we've come through fairly slack, but as the tide goes down now, we'll get a free ride out. So we're barely idling and we're doing nearly 6 knots at the moment. And through the Narrows we were doing about 6.5 knots, we were carried through. So we came through here in a 3.4 metre tide, we've got a 1.35 metre draft, and when I strayed off the path a little bit to give that cat some room, we got down to 0.3 or 30 centimetres, a foot under the keel. So that gives you some idea if you're planning this route what your margin of error is. Most of it though is pretty comfortable, you know, we had about a metre under it.
We're in the blue now though. We're not driving on land anymore.
For a little while. We'll go back on green for a little bit for a second.
Oh yeah.
Land isn't green, land is yellow.
Oh yeah, sorry.
Simpson's yellow. Green just means that it'll dry out at low tide. Made it.
I think we've made it. You've increased the revs. How fast are we going now? 6 knots.
The tide has slowed down a bit, that's why I boosted the revs up a bit more.
As the water has widened, space has widened.
We're in the dead zone. From here it's going to go that way.
We stayed in Gladstone for a few days until the weather was just right for us to sail back out to the reef. We were planning one last visit to the Capricorn Bunker Group before we continued our journey southwards. Hi Dal! So we're on our way off to Lady Musgrave Island. We left Gladstone yesterday, and yeah, we're really hoping to see Manta Rays. That's the reason why we've hung around this area in winter, and I just haven't dived with them before, and I'd really love to have that experience. So we've actually spoken to some locals, we've got some local knowledge, we've earmarked a few bommies that we saw last time we were at Lady Musgrave Island that we suspect might be a hot spot, and we're just fingers crossed hoping that we'll see them. I mean, it's not something, you just got to be in the right place at the right time, so we'll see how we go. And well, at the moment we've just got a beautiful sort of downwind sail. I think there'd be about, how many knots of breeze? 6?
What breeze?
Yeah, I think there's about 5 or 6 knots of breeze, so we're making the most of it with our spinnaker. We're actually going 3.7 knots, which is not bad considering how little breeze there is right now. So, such a fantastic sail. We just really love it to bits. And yeah, luckily we've got a track to get into Lady Musgrave because we're going to be entering in the evening
Ordinarily, if we were going into a reef that we didn't know, that we'd never visited before, we would plan to get there during the daylight hours, obviously, to navigate through.
So quite a few people have donated to free range sailing to keep it running, and this is, we try and reinvest as much of it back as possible in making our videos, so this is one of them. We bought a little Sony point and shoot and housed it in this underwater housing. It can go to 40 metres, but because we free dive it only needs to put up with about half of that. But it's quite a neat little unit, and maybe we'll have a bit more of a look at this Sony, but it's proving to be quite a sophisticated little camera and good for video. It's compact, so even in its housing it's only about as big as an SLR anyway. The other thing that I've put with it is a set of handles. So with these you can also attach strobe lights for if we're shooting under ledges and so on. We're not attaching the strobes at the moment because we'll be filming in the sunshine, so even at the bottom it might return a few reds, but it's just lost in the sunlight. You can put that over it. And what having a camera on the handles does, my friend Sam, he's a proper videographer, he was just saying that if you have the handles, the further you can have them away from the centre, it takes a lot of the shake and judder out and gives us smoother underwater footage. And we've had these for a little while, and we've just been mounting our smaller cameras on it, so you might have noticed that our underwater footage has improved. You may not, I don't know. But that's why, because you can get your hands like that, and you know, it takes a lot of the shake out. It makes everything very smooth just by the nature of how you hold the camera. Whereas if you hold a camera like that, it's sort of it's prone to just human twitchiness. Enough theory, Pasky. What do you reckon?
Put it into practice.
With so many playful dolphins all around us, I couldn't resist jumping in for a swim with them. As soon as I jumped in, they were all around. I got so excited it was hard to keep my composure and get a steady shot. It was so amazing that I'd forgotten about keeping my heart rate down to get a breath hold to swim with them. As soon as I came up, they lost interest in me. But something else was much more interested in me swimming at the surface. No sign of Manta Rays here, but there were lots of other rays about. This time of the year is mating season for stingrays. Typically, one female is pursued by multiple males. Diving down deep to see the stingrays dance had piqued the dolphins' curiosity once more. But with the whalers still lurking around, I was ready to head back to the yacht and call our diving a day. Thank you for watching this week's episode of Free Range Sailing, and if you enjoyed it, please don't forget to give it a thumbs up.
And if you'd like to see more videos like it, hit the subscribe button and join the crew.